Hi, my name is Marielle Pierrot, and I am going to show you how to make soup Joumou. Yes, I said it, soup Joumou, and soup Joumou is also known as pumpkin soup. And the soup Joumou is originated from Haiti, which symbolizes the Haitian freedom as of January 1st in 1804, where Haiti celebrated the country's Independence Day. The Haitian prepared soup Joumou, which is a rich pumpkin soup with even a richer history. And so therefore, today, we want to be able to share with you our Haitian tradition. Now, soup Joumou is actually one of my favorite soup and probably the only soup that I probably would eat. And reason behind that is because my late grandmother, Rose Catan, she used to make soup Joumou not only in for New Year's, but whenever we asked for soup Joumou, my grandmother would prepare it, and she was the best at it. So today I am going to show you how to make soup Joumou. However, it probably won't taste as good as the way my grandmother made it, but it will sure taste good. Okay, so today, as we mentioned, we're going to make some soup Joumou. So right here we have pumpkin squash, which is also known as Joumou. In Creole is Joumou. In English is squash. And then we have parsley. And we have carrot. Then we have watercress. Then we have a bag of spinach. And then we have macaroni, but I got the shredded macaroni. And typically, usually when you put pasta in soup, you have to be very careful of how much you put in there because you don't want it the liquid of the soup to soak up in the pasta. But we'll get to that soon. And so I am going to make my soup with turkey drumsticks, which are cut in slices. Many others, when they make soup Joumou, they actually make it with either beef or oxtail, or they make it with pork. So myself, I like to make it with turkey meat. Then we have cabbage, and we have celery, and we have what we call leeks. It looks like scallion, but it's actually a bigger version of scallion, but they call it leeks. And this actually is what helps enhance the flavor of the soup Joumou. Okay, so as you can see, I have the pumpkin squash, or the pumpkin, the Joumou, and I'm gonna slice it and cut it up. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut it up into small cubes, and we're gonna put it in a pot, and we're gonna add some water in there. Now, when I make my soup Joumou, I like to boil my Joumou with flavor. So I like to add my spices into it. So let me just go ahead and cut this out into small cubes. And as you can see, the skin is on it. So when you're cutting this up, you want to be careful so you don't hurt yourself with a knife, because it could be really hard and challenging. So, as I was saying earlier about my grandmother, she actually was the best. My grandmother passed away in 2015. And I miss her very dearly. And every holiday, I felt like every holiday was almost the only time that I could get soup Joumou. But I'll tell you what though, whenever I was sick, and if they were gonna make me some soup Joumou had to be it. I was not with any other soup but the soup Joumou. There's something special about it, especially since my grandmother was so good at it. you know, I've always enjoyed eating her soup because it give a sense of comfort. I don't know, it just hit right at the, I don't know how to explain it, but it hits right at the pit of the stomach, you know. So I'm making this in my grandmother's honor, as it brings back great memory, you know, at this time while I'm making this soup. So I'm cutting them in cubes, and as you notice, I'm cutting them in cubes so that I'd be able to cut the skin off of it. And like I said, it's really hard, so you gotta be very careful in how you cut the, how you remove the skin off of it. Now, if you don't want to do all of this, I like to do things from scratch. I like to cook from scratch. But if you don't feel like going through the process of cutting, and you want to avoid getting your hands dirty, or you want to avoid holding your stuff, they do sell the pumpkin squash. Actually, they sell the squash, the butternut squash rather, in frozen or fresh. You can get it fresh at the supermarket. You see them fresh at the supermarket already cut up, or you find them frozen. Now, I do add the frozen. I don't know why. I just noticed that my grandmother and my mom, for some reason, they put both the fresh ones and the frozen squash or Joumou in the soup. Why? I don't know. I just followed the step. But today, I actually forgot to get the frozen one, but it doesn't really make a difference. So, oops, you could do without the frozen squash. So, there's a seed out in the middle of it. There's seeds in the middle of it. And what you can do with the seed also, you can actually try to grow your own pumpkin in your backyard. But what you do with the seed, you just leave it out and let it dry out. And once it's completely dried, you can plant it in some soil, and then, you know, hopefully during harvest time, you'll be able to grow some pumpkin. Okay. And the hardest thing about this is that you don't want to waste the pumpkin, so you try to cut as close to the skin as possible. So now, they said the Joumou started back in 1804 during the Haitian independence, which is January 1st, you know, so, and they called it the freedom soup, which is quite interesting. And so, because you would think when you have a big celebration, you'll have, or, you know, like a feast, like a Thanksgiving feast, but they actually celebrated with Joumou, with pumpkin. And if you really can pay attention to, pumpkin is grown during the harvest, right? And so when you talk about the harvest, it's almost like it's basically a celebration, you know, a celebration of Thanksgiving. giving thanks for, you know, the blessings that we have received. You know, because, I don't know. So, I know a lot of chefs, or I don't know, a lot of cooks like to use measurements. As I said, my grandmother taught me how to cook, and I've never once seen her use a measuring cup or a measuring spoon. So, we just go with our guts. And so, however, if you must know how much water I put in here, I can show you a close-up of how much water I put in the pot. I didn't fill it up. I just put enough where it is enough for the pumpkin to boil enough to become really soft. Because once it becomes soft, then I would boil it. So, as you can see, if you can see, maybe, right? So I basically, the water is about this much. As you can see. Oh my God. Okay. Okay. The water is about this much here. It's not even half, but it's enough to. You just put enough to cover up the pumpkin so that you can boil it. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I like to pre-season my pumpkin scraps. My complete seasoning. I season it based on my liking and my taste of it. But if you have to go by measurement, I would say put maybe 2 teaspoons of complete seasoning. Over here I have the garlic powder. Garlic has a lot of health benefits to it. So just put some garlic powder. You can never go wrong with garlic powder. And I also put some onion powder. Also put paprika. Paprika. So, I'm gonna go ahead and put it to boil. Oh, and one last thing, I do add oil to it. You don't put too much oil. So, I like to use olive oil. So you put about 2 cups of that. That I can tell you to measure. Alright, so just 2 cups of olive oil. I'll go ahead and put it on the stove for it to boil. And as you notice, I haven't added salt. But you do have a perfect choice of your own to add the salt. So right now it's on the stove on high. And so now I'm gonna get to preparing the meat. So in preparation of your meat, you basically prepare it based on the likings. So I'm gonna go ahead and prepare the meat. I'm gonna go ahead and season it. and prep it, and I'm gonna cook it down. Hey, we have what we call épices. Épices is a Haitian seasoning where they blend together all types of seasoning. Here I had onion, vegetable oil, parsley, garlic, celery, spices, lemon, usually cilantro. I usually make my own, but this time I decided to purchase this from the store called Bravo, the supermarket. I was so surprised to see that. So I like to support small businesses, especially small black businesses and Haitian businesses in particular. So it's called Épices, Caribbean seasoning. And I'm gonna go ahead and put that in the turkey meat that I'm about to cook down. Okay, so we have the turkey that is cooking down, and we have the Joumou, also known as the pumpkin, that is also cooking down. So while those are getting cooked down, in the meantime, we continue with the preparation of the ingredients. Now that we clear that up, so we have the cabbage. What we're gonna do, we're gonna whip up some pieces of the cabbage. I like to add them whole. Some people like to cut them into small pieces. I know that when you do it whole like this, you get more out of it. Flavoring. So I'm gonna put it in a bowl. So I'm gonna use this. And so some of the cabbage is gonna go in there. And you don't want it to be too big. Like this size is good. This size I'm gonna cut it up into smaller pieces. And over here you have the leeks. I'm gonna cut that up. Cut that down. Let it go. Just continue cutting. And the leeks, L-E-E-K, is gonna give a nice flavor to the soup as well. Now, as you get closer up higher, there's always some black dirt in there. So I'm just gonna stop right here and just throw that part out. Now, some people probably cook with it. Maybe I should throw it out. I got most of what I needed, and that's good enough. So in here is all of the ingredients, except for the spinach. The spinach I'm gonna add this very last. Oh, one more thing, we also have the watercress. So for watercress, I'm just gonna remove the rubber band, and then I'm not even gonna cut that up. Doesn't need to be cut up, and I'm gonna go ahead and wash the vegetable. I add the coconut milk. I just loved the flavoring. I usually add a can. It depends on how much soup I'm making also. But let's taste it. Oh, yum, yum, yum. So I'll just add 1 can. And then I'm gonna add a can of water again to it. And oil. And as you notice, I haven't put the vegetables in yet. I'm gonna wait for the soup to boil before I start adding the other ingredients. And then I'm gonna also add a stick of butter. Give me 1 second. just to add onto the flavor. Remember, I only put like 2 cups full of oil because I know I was gonna add some butter to it. And so we just wait for it to boil. Cut. As you can see, the meat is cooking down, and I like to add some water to it so that it doesn't stick and that it can continue to cook down. And what that does really, it adds the flavor into the meat with these all the ingredients that I have put in there. And then the seasoning, that is. And so once I get the flavoring in, then I would add it to the Joumou. Now as you can see, the Joumou has softened up. So what I'm going to do now, okay, I'm super excited because so far it's looking really good. This is what the Joumou is supposed to look like. See? Alright. So I blended it. So this is what it looked like. Right? And so now I am going to add the turkey meat. And you see liquid. The liquid is coming from the Joumou. Because what I did, I poured out the Joumou into the chicken. Into the turkey. So I'm going to pour all this into the Joumou, which is gonna add some flavor to it. I'm so excited. And then I'm also gonna add some water, which is the leftover Joumou that's in here, so that we can bring it into a boil for it to, you know, make the Joumou soup. Excited. So now I have the turkey in there, and I added an extra thing of water in there so that we can have enough soup so everybody at home can eat. So really based on the amount of people that you're making the soup for to feed. So I'm mixing that in. It's gonna boil, and as it comes to boil, and I forgot to mention, you can add potatoes in there. So I think I'm gonna add like 1 potato, but I put that all the way at the end. You don't have to, but you can. And sometimes some people add sweet potatoes or whatnot. And so now we're adding the ingredients into the pot. I'm putting all of it with sugar. So you have the pasta. They were all fritted actually, because once it stopped boiling, it will start to melt down. I put the watercress in there. It's broken into pieces. So then I'm gonna go ahead and mix it in. Oops, sorry for the camera. So I'm gonna go ahead and mix it in. Now it all took for it to cook down. It only takes about 15 minutes or so. It depends what you put in there, but because I strictly put vegetables in here, it doesn't take long to cook the vegetables. The turkey's all down there. The spaghetti, it takes just a few minutes for it to cook down because you don't want to overcook. And remember, I did mention not to put too much pasta because you don't want the pasta soaking up the liquid of the soup. I'm so excited to share with you. Here is the finishing product. So now we're gonna see how it tastes. Now you can eat that with some toasted bread with butter, or you can eat it with some crackers. Well, tonight I'm just gonna have it by itself. So let me taste and see how it tastes. Not exactly like Grandma Rose, but it's almost there. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And as you can see, I've mentioned the pasta. There's only just a little bit of pasta in here, so it won't soak up the juice. And here's the turkey meat. Here's the carrot. Oh my God, this is so delicious. Well, thank you for joining me, and I hope you had a good time watching this recipe, and definitely try it at home. Like I've mentioned, the ingredients are leeks, cabbage, carrots, parsley, watercress, turkey meat, but you can use any meat flavoring as you want, and celery. Add potato if you want, but I didn't today. Carrots and spinach and watercress. Okay, and then the most important ingredient of this entire dish is Joumou, which is pumpkin squash. And so I hope you enjoy it. Thank you. Bye.